Empires are the only things that can withstand a major hit. Find the one you trust and build an empire. I'm very good at running the household, the PR, the behind the scenes, the visionary of the company, but I'm not a beast like Grant. I came from the streets of New Orleans. It was a lot of drugs. I almost overdosed one night. I was like, no, I need to turn my life around and do something meaningful. I wrote the book for people like me. There is no reason anyone can't have what we have. And then along with that is the sacrifices. I would die for real for Grant and my kids. Empires are destroyed from the inside. It's the people that you think are your friends that you let in, and they poison the well.
That's why your royal court is super important. You vet everybody that has any contact with you or Grant.
The queens make the hard decisions no matter what they say for the good of all.
5 years from now, what are you and Grant doing?
We hit the $10 billion. We've helped people on a bigger scale. I want to see everyone succeed. If everyone lived up to their full potential and succeeded, imagine the contribution to the planet. It could be a renaissance on Earth.
They say that the human race is doomed, that we have lost touch with our true nature, that the media has corrupted us, and that the planet has no future. I disagree. I believe that humanity is full of hope, and that our salvation lies within each one of us. My name is Brian Rose, and my job is to listen, the oldest method of learning known to man. Each week I seek out individuals that are changing the world, people who are living and thinking in a different way. Their stories will challenge your beliefs, make you question your choices, and perhaps inspire you to change. I never planned on doing any of this, but now I can't stop. Join me on this mission and make humanity something we can all be proud of.
They say behind every great man is an even greater woman, and that woman is Elena Cardone. She's one half of the Cardones, the people that ride on private jets, 10x everything, and sell out baseball stadiums for their growth conferences. And Elena has a new book called Build an Empire, How to Have It All. And she talks about what she does behind the scenes to make that empire what it is. She has to vet the royal court. She has to take care of the business. She has to handle the beast that is Grant Cardone. I love sitting down with her. She talked about her childhood growing up in New Orleans, struggling with drugs, becoming an actress in LA, and then going all in on her family and her husband and building this incredible empire. I know you're gonna enjoy this. I love Elena. Her and Grant took over our studios for 6 hours, and I know this will be the start of many great conversations with them. And inside London Real Academy, we are building our own empire, teaching people how to start their own businesses from scratch, putting people on the TED stage and getting people to broadcast themselves and create their own podcasts. Here's a bit more about the great work that we do.
London Real.
What's up,
London
baby?
Real.
It's all good.
London Real doesn't stop when the conversation ends. You see, that's when we get started. Because everything begins with a thought, and then comes the action. The London Real Academy is our global transformation platform. Here we bring together thousands of students from over 75 countries. Whether you want to build a profitable business from your passion, or learn to speak to inspire, or broadcast yourself with your very own podcast, or accelerate your life to become a high-performance person, we have the online accountability course and personal mentoring program that will make your dream a reality. Join us, and we'll take your life to the next level together. Our next accelerator course is starting soon.
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Elena Cardone, the actress, author, businesswoman, personal development coach, and public speaker. You currently co-host the G&E Show with your husband, Grant Cardone, the best-selling author, entrepreneur, and investor. Together, you've created a real estate portfolio of over $1 billion. Your new book, Build an Empire, How to Have It All, lays the groundwork for creating, building, and defending an empire via career and marriage based on the real-time, time-tested, and proven principles you've used over the past 15 years. Elena, welcome to London Real.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm super excited. You could see, I read this thing cover to cover this weekend. My wife, thought I was, cheating on her.
Woo!
Because, your picture's here, and, you really go deep on what it's like to be, one half of the Cardone empire. Mm-hmm. And there's not many women out there that get to talk about this stuff, or that are necessarily this involved in this kind of empire. So first I got to ask, why now with the book? And I've heard books are really hard to write. I'm in the middle of writing one. Was this difficult to do?
It was extremely difficult for me. I finished high school at 17. I made decent grades only because of my ability to memorize and regurgitate information, not because I left there knowing how to apply anything I learned. So, so I'm not an educated woman. I never went to college. I hated, I protested book reports and all of that stuff. So sitting down and having to confront writing a book, it brought up a lot of resistance and protest for me. And I wrote the book, I kind of rewrote the book, and then I took several months off. Then I came back in the last 2 months. So it took me almost a year to write the book. But the last 2 months, I really just dug in really deep and then finished it and put it out. Why I wrote the book is for people like me who came from I came from the streets of New Orleans. Our family did not have money. I wouldn't say we were poor because I had a bed. Christmas never missed us. Biggie. But we lived paycheck to paycheck, and money was an extreme, constant undercurrent of anxiety in our household. And the fact that I came from that to where I am today, I know that people, if they get stripped away of the wrong data that they have, and they can actually use their energy to apply the right knowledge, because if knowledge is
power.
Right. Imagine if you have the wrong knowledge. But if you actually use the right knowledge, and knowledge is power, then there is no reason anyone can't have what we have. And so I have come to this point in my life where I've been through enough experiences to where I know where we've made mistakes. I know what works for us. And I'm willing to put it all out there because because the world that I'm meeting, those are my people. The people that I looked to and wanted to be my mentors, I've met several billionaires and they've all let me down. They've disappointed me big time, massively. And I'm like, that's not my people. These are my people.
Why have they disappointed you?
They disappointed me because they don't have the agenda to help people as their priority. And I don't know, maybe it's because of what they've been through, because I understand also that where we are, it does leave you open to exposure. And we can get into that later. We can get into that now. But maybe they're very on guard and protected because of what they've been through. But them in being isolated, almost disrespectful, and not wanting to let the little guy in, I made a vow that if I'm ever in a position where someone looks to me for advice, or it looks to me for what are they doing, that I would be that person that I would not disappoint them. I might not always be able to take a picture with everybody, but I will always respect you.
Why do you care about the people? Because it seems like both you and Grant have. Is that something your parents taught you, or why give it back? Because you came from kind of the humble beginnings, or why? Because a lot of people don't care when they get to the top.
Yeah, I don't know. It's in my heart. It's who I am. Maybe I was raised that way. I mean, my parents were very loving parents, very supportive of me. I do feel blessed, and I do feel like. I don't know whether it's because certain things are ingrained from society, but I feel like people are ingrained with certain, they're ingrained with certain ways that aren't really their ways, but they're designed to hold them down. And once I realized that, people accuse me maybe of having these like kind of conspiracy theorists kind of a thing. But I really believe that. And once I saw that wow, maybe there is something that's trying to hold people down, so the people at the top, the handful at the top, can really control their little thing and keep everybody down. And once my eyes were open to that, that's when I said, no. We're going to expose as much as we can expose and give other people the opportunity to know what we know so that we can come up together, because we shouldn't threaten those people. My success shouldn't threaten that person.
Right.
I want to see everyone succeed. If everyone on this planet lived up to their full potential and succeeded, imagine the amount of happiness, imagine the contribution to the planet if we all lived up to our potential. I mean, it could be a renaissance on Earth. I mean, if you really think about it in that sense, if you want to dare go there.
You've got a chapter in here called Know Your Role. And I just had your husband Grant in here, and he said, there is no Cardone empire without you. Like this, it doesn't exist. And yet in this book, you say, I know what I need to do to make it function, and it's very different than what Grant does. Can you talk about that role? Because a lot of people are going to watch this. They're going to be men wondering how they can find their Elena. There's going to be a lot of them out there. Women are going to watch this and say, okay, I don't know if I can be that person, or I want to find my Grant. Like, what can you teach us about this know your role? Because we're also in a society today where it's kind of saying everyone's equal. And maybe let's start off with that. What does that mean?
Know your role is, look, every relationship is unique, just like a fingerprint. So I would never tell anyone, know your role, and your role is this role, and your role is that role. It doesn't work like that. If you're talking about these people wanting to know, you have to get with your partner and assess your roles. Grant and I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. I'm very honest and real about that. No matter how hard of a what's it called? To swallow, like a pill.
Yeah.
No matter how difficult it is that I've had to confront, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. And he knows his strengths and he knows his weaknesses, and we know each other's. And from that, we've learned, okay, I'm the boss of this, I'm the boss of this, and I'm the boss of this. Grant, you are not allowed to bypass me in that. I am the general in this area. Same thing for him. It just so happens we have more of a traditional relationship like that, because I'm very good at running the household, the PR, the behind the scenes, the visionary of the company. I'm very good at, I can't turn that part of my brain off. When I see you, and I get to know you, I start thinking about, and I have this problem with most people that I meet, which is why it's very difficult for me to hang out with kind of normal people, because all of a sudden I'll get ideas. You should do this, and what you should do that, and then you can do this with your business. And I get a little hyper about it, and sometimes I have to try to control myself and my energy so people can have me, so I'm not so overwhelming. But I have these visions, but what I don't have is I'm not an animal. I mean, I am in my own thing, but I'm not a beast like Grant. I don't know how to do what he does. It would take me years to develop that strength. So I need Grant to be the animal, to be the monster, to figure out when I say, we need $1 billion. We need to go global. How do we do that? How do we expand the empire? We got to go here. We got to go there. We got to have a jet because we got to go here. And this person has to know you. And then we can grow. And then we need to open Cardone Capital and fund. And then we have to get other people in it because we have to get up there because I want to beat these billionaire people who I don't like. And instead of killing them, I want to become on the Forbes list and flourish and prosper. But I want to bring all these people with us because these are the people of the world, not those people. And so I have these you see how crazy it is?
It's crazy. You just got to hang out with the right people who respect that.
Right. So I have these visions. So knowing your roles, that's me, you know, and Grant can have that. And all of my, if people want to call it analytical or insanity, whatever is your preference, that's what I'm good at. And he's good at this. So I need him to be that. And I need him to be the animal and to go out and hunt and kill and bring back. He knows how to do the deals and take them down and kill them and pick them and renegotiate or negotiate. And I don't know that world. So we work very well together, you know? So that's the thing about knowing the roles. And then along with that is the sacrifices. Most people don't want to go through the sacrifice phase. Like with having an animal like Grant Cardone, and I need him to be that. But the sacrifice is he's coming home from the war, and I expect him or want him or wish in my ideal world, because I'm an actress and I watched all the movies, I want him to come home and pick me up and carry me over the threshold from his hard day at the war and say, I love you so much. But that's not what happens. He comes in the door and it's like, and I get all this barked at, and, you know, the daggers come flying at me, you know. But that's the sacrifice that I'm willing to make because I want him. I don't want a romantic. I'm the romantic. I don't want another mate. What am I going to do with two visionaries?
Right.
We can't do what, you know.
But that means you got to get the call when you're putting the girls to bed on 30 minutes notice that it's time to whip up dinner, decant the bottle of wine, and get ready for some schmoozing. Like that's your role, and to put them on a happy face. And you're always with Grant. You were here last time he was at London Real Studios. You're his wingman permanently.
That's right.
You don't take a 5-minute out. You don't take a day off.
No. And the thing also is, like, when I'm done with him and then I'm home with the kids who, you know, have been with the nanny for the whole time that we're here, then they want to be with us. And then Grant's exhausted and this and that, so he'll play with them for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever, and then he gets to go chill and relax. But now I'm on mom duty for the next 3 hours. So it just doesn't stop. But the thing is, I'm not complaining about that. But that's my role. I chose that. This is the life I want. We have a very big mission. There is no time to waste, you know? So that's just what I do. Like, a lot of people care about how they feel. This is another reason why, you know, it's hard to be around people who don't think so huge, because, you know, you hear a lot, well, I don't want to, like, she doesn't want to do this job because she's not certain it'll make her happy. And then I have to bite my tongue, like I'm just so perplexed at people all the time, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, because I don't want to butt in somebody's business. And I'm like, what do you mean if it doesn't make you happy?
They're too worried about trying to make themselves happy.
Yeah.
When there's a bigger mission to take care of.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing through life? Like just waiting to be happy? You create your own happiness, you know? So, but I provide for the family, like work, work is the basis of morale. Like, whenever I'm sitting around and have nothing to do, that's when I get depressed. Okay. That's when I get sad. That's when I'm like, that's when I get tired.
Right. And you're putting work in every day and making sacrifices to make sure this whole machine and unit proceeds as planned. So it's like, you got to make sure Grant is happy, the kids are happy, the relationships are there, the vision's in there, but you have to all do it with this kind of a feminine energy where it's like, it doesn't upset the beast, but it also channels the beast.
Trying not to upset the beast.
This is an art, right?
It's an art. It's an art. And that's what I talk about in the book too, become an asset to yourself and to your partner. And that's part of becoming an asset is learning how to move through the different personas. You know, the mom, the fun girl, the businesswoman, the visionary, like how to move through each role seamlessly, effortlessly, and with precision and effectiveness. You know, it's really like a skill. But I wanted to show that because when I was looking to those people to say, what is it that you're doing? They didn't exist. And that's why I wrote the book. Because anyone who's actually interested in what it takes, I'm not saying my way is the only way, but I'm saying my way has worked for me and it's worked for us. And maybe it can work for you too. I don't know. I would need people to read the book, go try it, test it, tried and true, and then come back to me and say, it works. And then I will have fulfilled my mission and made a difference for the better on the world.
Why call it Build an Empire? Why are there all these references to royalty? I mean, this is like a book of Game of Thrones in here. Your royal courts, seek your own counsel. Is this a theme of empires? Why are we talking about it that way? And why build an empire in the first place?
Why build an empire? Because empires are the only things that are big enough. It gets your mind thinking big enough. And if you actually build an empire, it's the only thing that can withstand a major hit and a major blow. It's the only thing that can sustain a whack, an economic whack, somebody getting cancer in your family, somebody dying, somebody losing their job. Normal cannot sustain that. You do that to normal, and it just cracks. And normal is very dangerous. So I don't want to think normal, and I don't like thinking in normal terms, because normal is dangerous, because it gives you the illusion that everything is fine, and at the smack of a second, you're whacked and you're done. It folds, it crumbles. I know, because I've been there. I did normal, and we almost died, or metaphorically speaking. But so I want people to think in terms of empire on a number of reasons, because you have to create extraordinary. Extraordinary stands up to the challenges of life. Only extraordinary, built up reserves in not only finances, courage, honor, integrity, dignity, pride, experiences. You lack that, you are done. You are done. Your competition will slaughter you. And if you don't think in terms like that, you will get slaughtered.
Yeah, and you said in the book, if you're not building an empire, you're destroying one.
Yeah, if you're not creating, you're destroying.
Right. And so they need to be, not taking action is destroying your empire, making you weaker to where you can't withstand. And I want to talk about, 2008, where you guys really had to come together and get through some stuff. Is it true that it was your idea for the Cardone family to become billionaires and your idea to get the jet?
Yes.
Are people surprised when they hear that?
Yep. It is my idea, because I told you 2008 happened, and we had the economic collapse happen.
Right. So in your book, you say 2008, you're watching television, you're pregnant with your first daughter, second daughter, first daughter. Lehman crashes. I still remember that Sunday night. I was in London, and you turned to Grant and said, "What does this mean for us?" And he says, "We're dead."
I said, "What does this mean to us?" And he says, "It means we're gonna die." Those were his exact words. It means we're gonna die.
And how did you react to that?
I said, that was a button for me. I was like, I thought he was joking. I was like, what? And he was like, oh, we're gonna die. And I was like, I don't die. Does this look like death to you? Like, I'm pregnant with our child. You're telling me we're gonna die? Like, don't do that to me. That's not cool. Like, you don't joke with me like that. I was like, I don't die. And you promised me that if I got with you, my life would improve. You didn't say anything about dying. And I was like, he had an office down the hallway. And I said, so you go to your office and you figure it out and do not come out until you have it solved. And he goes down to his office, and he's in there for 1 hour, and I'm like, oh God, what's he doing in there? Is he thirsty? Does he need some meat? I'm like, no, be tough, Elena. You were really tough on him. I was like, yeah, gotta be tough. 2 hours. I'm like, oh my God. 3 hours, he comes back, and he puts this stack of papers in my hands. And I'm like, what's this? He's like, it's a manuscript. It's my first book. He's like, it's not going to make us rich, but I know what I did wrong. I know how to get us out of it, and I will never make you worry ever again. And he never has.
It's powerful stuff. I was reading this book and I was thinking, wow, we all need a woman like Elena Cardone, but not all of us want to be told that stuff. And I don't think all of us can handle that. To be said, hey, you better get us out of this. Now get in that office and fix it. Or isn't it time you become a billionaire?
Yeah, I know.
That's a relationship some men aren't willing to have.
I know.
You must have seen it out there. Even Grant said, yeah, when you said it, it hurt him. Warren Buffett could have said, when you're going to be a billionaire, he'd be like, yeah, I'm getting around to it. But when you say it, it cuts.
Oh, when I said it, oh my God, it was horrible. I got read the riot act. When are you ever going to be happy? When are you ever going to be satisfied? You know, I'm out there working, you don't do anything. I got like, and you know, that's when it takes discipline to just keep your mouth shut because, you know, I might not look like it. I might not be the strongest chick, but I'm a tough chick. You know, I moved to California at 17. I knew no one. So the temptation to blurt some stuff back was immense, but I just kept my mouth shut.
Right. That's the discipline of being the queen, right? You have to let that ride. Because you can't fight that male aggressive energy the same way, even though that is definitely in you.
No, you always have to have the intention and the end point of what is the crown. That's why I keep going back to the empire. What is the crown? What does it mean? Imagine what the queen has gone through her entire life to uphold the dignity of the crown. Immense. I can't even imagine. That's why I do empires. Also, because the people that are in relationships, if you really imagine that you're the highest point of your relationship and what you are creating, the queen can't go to her friends and complain about the king. In the olden days, she would have had her head chopped off. It's vice versa. You know, the king shouldn't go and talk. I mean, can you imagine if the Duke Philip went and nattered about the queen?
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't do it. So you have to solve it between yourselves and hold yourself with that much respect to each other, to regard each other as the top. You know, that's why the empire just works.
Yeah, dignity is something that comes up in here. You have a lot of other qualities that you want the empire to be. Maybe Grant is focusing on those commas, but you're like, yeah, but we got to do it this way. Because that's how the empire is built, by having these traits. Like you said.
I want mine to have so much honor and integrity. It's why I can't hang out with people that don't have it, or that cheat on their marriages. Like, I hate when I find that out. Like, when my friends, or, you know, I hate when I find that out, and I see it all the time. It drives me nuts, because if they're going to cheat on them, they're going to cheat on you.
Right.
They're going to cheat on everything they do. You know, right. And it's not just that, it's everything. So, and I fiercely protect our empire. Like, I fiercely protect Grant.
And the bigger your empire, the bigger empire you're trying to build, the more disciplined you have to be about all of those things, right?
Yeah, because absolutely. And the war, the empires are destroyed. From what I've learned and researched about empires, they're destroyed from the inside. You know, if I know who my enemy is, I can figure out how to combat them, how to starve them out, I can come up with ways to take them down. I can create so many allies that'll come from around the circle that will do my work for me, because my allies know I would do that for them. But I create allies. I do so much behind the scenes. But it's the people that you think are your friends that you let in, and they poison the well.
That's why your royal court is super important.
It's super
important. And you
important.
vet everybody that has any contact with you or Grant. Cooks and nannies and business people, everything. You have to be that vigilant. Now, people would read that, Elena, and say it's a bit overkill.
That's true. They can, and that's fine. But I'm going for very big things. I'm going for impossible targets. I'm going for insane, crazy lady targets. So that's how they can look at me. That's fine. But when I die, I'm going to rest my head, you know, in this body and say, you know what? I gave it my all and I went for it. And they might say what they will, but if I can rest my head and say, I made a difference. Somebody was helped because of me. I can be like, peace out. I'm done.
Someone else you talk about in here is your own personal discipline. You talk about stuff like alcohol and drugs and tobacco and partying, and then you also talk about your own self-improvement. Can you talk about those? Because you hit that a couple times as far as how they don't have a place in an empire.
Not for me, not in my role. I mean, I don't drink. I did lie. Like, for instance, I did on my birthday last year. It was the first time in a year that I had drank. And I had fun. But I puked 3 times the next day, and that wasn't fun, you know? And I'm like, what am I doing? Normally, I don't drink. Like, I don't drink, not just because of the one day. I drink because I have to be so sharp and so alert. And I process data like every second of every moment I'm working. Like it's, especially when I'm around Grant. I don't even think he knows this, but I'm constantly looking like, you know, the scene, like I'm checking everybody out, hands, body language, faces, indicators, like what's coming at me, you know?
Yeah. How we doing here at London Real?
Y'all are great. Y'all are fantastic. But I'm doing all of that and you would never know because you think I'm like,
Oh, I don't know. I think I might have known that last time you were here.
Really?
So, yeah, you're on point.
I was nervous last time you were here.
Really?
I was very on guard.
Why? Oh, because it was just a weird situation?
Because the door was shut.
Right.
And I wanted, because I didn't do my research, like who you are. I didn't vet you. And so y'all were in here on this closed door thing. And I was and Grant doesn't even think like this, but this is how my mind works.
Right.
I thought, okay, and it's London, it's a new territory, you know? So I think, okay, you're gonna have an interview with Grant. And I know how Grant is. He's very direct. And I understand him because I understand everything about him. Right. But I also understand he says things that will offend people because they don't understand this. If they're seeing him for the first time, it gets out of context. So then I was thinking, oh my God, they're in there. He's going to say something, one little piece of it. We don't have our side recording it. And he's going to release that and put out his own little story. And that's how my mind works.
That's good. That's why you're the queen.
Thank you.
Right? Tell me about how the billionaire thing got settled. So he freaks out. You don't know what I do. You don't know how hard I work. How long did that go over? And how did you play that?
I understood immediately that I didn't present it in the right way. And I immediately understood from where he came from. So I knew immediately, rather than trying to fight that or defend my position, I realized I had to just let him vent. Another thing, I'm very good at the shield, so I can take it. I'm willing to take it. I took it. Once that chilled out, you know, then I have my secrets, you know, the womanly secrets. I was like, let's just have sex with him. He's always cool after that. So I did that. And then after that, I was like, okay, let's talk about this billionaire thing again. Like, okay, I didn't say it right. And then I just completely validated him. Like, you're amazing. You're so amazing. Like, chokes me up.
Chokes you up how amazing he is?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? I mean, you've seen...
He is. I'm his biggest fan. And...
Why? Because you've seen him go through so much hard stuff?
No, because I've seen what a difference he's made in other people's lives and how they have improved their life because of him. He's worth a lot. Right. Not just financially. He's got an enormous worth, and he can really make a difference because I believe in his material. I've seen it work on people. I've seen the testimonials that come in about people that have changed their lives for themselves and their family's condition. And so I explained that without the tears. And I very rarely cry in front of Grant. Okay. Maybe happens once a year. I cry more in podcasts and when I deliver speeches than I do with him.
Is that weird. Because you're trying to put a strong face on for the...
No, it's our relationship. I just don't, I never cry in front of him.
Okay. And so you told him in a different way.
I said to him, look, it's not about, I need you to be a billionaire. I said, Grant, you know me. Like, I like nice things. I'm not going to lie about that. But if you took it all away from me today, I'm still standing next to you. I'm still believing in who we are. I'm believing in our mission. It's not about that for me. Like, this is I was like, I don't need those things to have an identity. I'm happy. I'm good. I was like, but if you became a billionaire, because this is how my mind works, think about what that would have meant for the world. Think all the people that are on Forbes, the Walmarts, what do they have in common? They've reached the masses. For you to become a billionaire, you would have had to reach the masses. And if you reach the masses, you will have helped the masses. And that's why you have to become a billionaire, because you have to reach those people. To withhold yourself and your product from people is a disservice to people. And I can't let you do that. my integrity is too high to have you just for myself, to be that selfish, to not share you with the world. You need to be out there. The world needs to know you. And a billionaire is just the symbol that you will have made it. And he could have that. I think that clicked in his head for him. And then he came around to it very quickly, actually, after that.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
And the jet was also your idea. And now you have the 550. Why was it your idea? What was the process of making it happen? And now that you have it, what are your thoughts about it? Is it what you thought it was, more than you thought it was?
The 550 came like as a separate, well, okay, let's just take the 550. The 550 came as, I'll just be honest, okay? I can't really talk about much of it, but there was a situation that happened. And I felt like we were kind of bullied around by this billionaire kind of situation. And you know, my mind went to, you know, how can I destroy these people? How can I, like, you know, I had to play all those scenarios out in my head. It's my mind. And then I thought, okay, I ran through the more analytical of that, and I thought, no, I can't do any of that. My ammo is to flourish and prosper. So once I got over that and being like, you know, over getting hit, you know, like gutted by that situation, I thought, how can I outcreate this? And that's when I thought, to get my attention off of that, I need to go create. I need to create. And so I thought, what better thing than to flourish and prosper? And what if Grant's message and my message was all over the world? And those people had to see us all over the world. That's great for me. I don't need to hurt you. I just need to flourish and prosper. And that's it. And that took my mind. So in order to do that, that's when I came up with the idea of the jet. It's where I came up with the idea of how can we do the licensee program for Cardone University? How can we get other people to go in other parts of the world who believes in our material like us and disseminate that material all over the globe so that they're doing well, we're getting more exposure, and it feeds into the empire thing. So that was one thing that came out as a direct solution for not literally like wanting to kill somebody.
Right. And you talk about that in the book. You talk about going through and making some gut feelings on your own about certain partnerships and people, and just learning the hard way that didn't work out, and you took that pretty hard. And but this is what the queen does, right? You have to. You're working always behind the scenes on partnerships, and you're learning. And so this is where you took your energy.
That's right.
And said, no, I'm gonna outcreate.
That's right. And so I came up with the licensee, and the same day I came up with. You know, I never wanted partnerships with our real estate because of something that the $60 million lawsuit that we had when that one first happened. I said, never again will we partner with anybody. It's got to be all us. I don't like partners. I don't trust partners. And then I thought, you know what? Those guys, with me having that attitude, they won. The enemy won, because the enemy doesn't want me to get stronger. The enemy wants me to operate on a smaller level, and then they would have won. You know, that's why I'm thinking in empires. I'm always at a battle with somebody. Everything's a war. Everything's a glorious victory, a trophy of this.
You're a beast too.
In my own way.
In your own way.
In my own way.
Right.
So then in the same day, the Cardone capital came to me, where I said, you know what? It was always the vision of the $1 billion real estate empire. And then I thought, well, if I want to like compete with those people or dominate them or whatever it is that I wanted to do, it has to go bigger. So then I came up with this idea of the $10 billion thing. And how do we do that? We have to let the people who really truly get us and support us, that want to get themselves up but could never invest in a $100 million deal, have an opportunity to do that for themselves. But also there's the exchange. They also have we have the opportunity to have them help us. So it's a very mutual exchange, symbiotic relationship that we have with our partners and our investors. But it allows us now, with the partners and the fund raising and for the accredited investors, it's allowed us to go from here to here instead of in 5 years, in 2 years. Okay. And then it's going to go like that and like that and like that and like that. And who knows? And then, you know, the empire is built.
And then you're going to have some more ideas and
then who knows where the next one comes from. But that's where the last 2 big ideas came from.
To men that are listening right now, and also to women as well, if they want to create this kind of relationship in their household, how do they go about doing it? Because a lot of men are thinking, I want Elena, you know, on my side. I want my woman to be like her. And maybe some of the women are saying, okay, how can I get my man to go out there and be a beast? Like if they really want to sit down, maybe they're starting out, or maybe they're in their 40s and just never got their head in the game. What are some simple things they can do, you know, to start this kind of collaborative process that you teach?
Figure out who does what. When Grant wants me to be a beast, I mean, like him, and he does grind on me and hammer on me, and when he wants me to do what he does. And that's when I have to put my foot down and say, look, I'm willing to do whatever it takes at any time, but don't expect me to be you. I am not you. Please acknowledge what I do and that I am the beast at what I do, and see what it is I do, because a lot of what I do doesn't look like I do anything behind the scenes, you know? So a lot of relationships run into conflict because either the entrepreneur woman might be expecting the guy to be as bullish as she is, but if he's really doing what I do behind the scenes and supporting her and raising her, like, is she really missing that that's an asset? Or does she really need someone, you know what I'm saying? So you have to, the relationship has to figure out what it is that they need to make it work.
Right. So have a mission, figure out what each one of you are good at. You said get on the same page, is what you talk about in here. And then ride or die. What does that mean?
That's like for real. Those aren't words that you just throw around. I hear those words all the time. When I say those words, I would die for real for Grant and my kids. It's not like play joke for me. It's like real, you know.
And that means you're all in on what you're doing.
Totally.
Here. Okay. But this wasn't always you, because you were a very, very independent woman.
Yep.
Taking care of business in LA, making your own money, very successful actress, and pretty much sworn bachelorette maybe for life.
Totally. I know. It's so embarrassing to say being a woman saying that.
Why is that embarrassing?
Because women are not supposed to, you know, be that way.
They're supposed to what? Be always looking for love? And, okay, but that wasn't you. Mm-mm. Why wasn't that you? This came back from growing up in
You know
New
why
Orleans.
it wasn't me? Yeah, it wasn't me because of what happened when I was younger. When I you know, I hate talking about this
But you
stuff.
got to talk about it. So take us back. You're in New Orleans. You know, you were born in Spain. You moved back when you were 1, and you grew up in New Orleans. Again, kind of middle class, it sounds like.
Yep.
And you had a great child, daddy's girl.
Totally.
But then when you're 14, you got some trauma in your life. What happens?
Yeah. Well, my best friend who lived across the street, the house was burning on fire, and so I witnessed that. And then I saw, why do you do this to me? I hate this.
It's in your book, Elena.
I know.
So what was the traumatic event?
The traumatic event was that, I just wasn't prepared at 14 years old to see your friend with the dead with over 95% of her body burned up, you know? It's like, it's intense to see like flesh melting off of your friend's body, you know? And then we were a very guarded family, loving but guarded. And I grew up kind of a tomboy. So I was very used to not crying and being very tough, trying to overcompensate for being a girl. I always wanted to be one of the boys. I still do, I swear.
Why is that?
I love guys. I think guys are the coolest thing in the world. I understand them. Like, they're just freaking cool. Like, I love guys. I love girls now so much. I never not liked girls. I never had a problem with girls. I never had mean girls bully me. I understand women now more than ever, and I need them in my life now.
Okay.
But I didn't back then. But anyway, so I went through that trauma, and it hurt so bad having to swallow that much pain and see that house every single day and not cry. Like from the next day, my parents expected me to be in school, and I was in school, like not crying, like when I was freaking dying on the inside, like you just freaking killed me. And I made a decision. Nothing was going to hurt me that bad again. And that equaled love. Love hurts.